Thanks for joining me today, and thank you everyone for your lovely messages that I received following my last video a couple of weeks ago. And it's so lovely to hear from you. I really enjoy reading all your comments and messages when they come through, and sending back replies to those who ask questions, as much as I'm able to, with being able to type it into a little comments box. And a couple of you asked, am I doing readings? Just to clarify, yes, I am. And by all means, I love giving readings. So if you'd like a reading with me, a private reading, check below. You will see how you can do that. You know, you can go to my website, or you can go straight into my booking program and find out what I'm offering, and make contact with me. So love to, if you'd like to do that, fantastic. I look forward to it. Welcome to all my new subscribers, and of course thank you to all my ongoing subscribers for staying with me, so I really appreciate that too. Today I'm going to answer one of the questions that's come forward from one of the subscribers who has asked me to make a video about the Knight of Pentacles in combination with the Nine of Swords, and then I'll also look at the Eight of Swords because I think he asked for both. Okay, so first of all, of course, it's going to depend on your question, what area you're looking at, so the usual around the question. And let's just assume that you've asked a very open-ended question about what you might want to know, or what you can expect, or how might something play out, or, you know, the usual question starting with how or what or where. Versus a closed question, which really has an answer of yes or no, which can be really tricky to deal with when it comes to the tarot. So I encourage open-ended questions. So let's say we ask a question about, say, someone's career, and we get the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so this is what pops up. So we immediately, you know, put our knowledge forward about what we know about the Knight of Pentacles, and we know it's a pentacle, so therefore it's around something in the physical plane. So that, you know, kind of the career and what that means in terms of money and finances and security, their self-esteem, their confidence. You know, our career kind of plays a big role in our lives around what we do every day, how we feel about ourselves, sort of what inspires us. So, you know, it can be quite significant. But let's say we ask a question about relationships, okay, and we get the Knight of Pentacles. Well, you know, it's still, you're going to apply the same base of knowledge. You're going to think about how your everyday existence, how your material plane, the things that you're attached to, how they're affecting your relationship. Are they enhancing it, or aren't they enhancing it? How they might be interacting with your relationship with yourself, so your self-esteem, your sense of confidence, how you present yourself to the world. Is that who you really are? You know, is that are you presenting something different than what your values and beliefs might be saying about who you are? And so you'll be asking those sort of questions to yourself or to the person that you're doing a reading with. And so, you know, that's what you're going to be looking at. And you can apply that to any of your questions. So you're still going to look at the basic foundation of what the Knight of Pentacles is about. You know, he's the worker bee. He's very stable. He's very secure. He's very slow, methodical, you know, because it's this knight, you know, it's a big plodding horse, you know, so you already know by looking at the imagery, that's why the imagery is so very powerful in the tarot, that this energy is one that is not going to be quick to change. It's going to be slow, methodical, concise, precise. You know, I kind of think of that real Capricornian energy, somebody that really gets into doing something and they really work hard at it, and they make sure that they're grounded and solid in their achievement and their approach. They like routines from start to finish, you know, so the Knight of Pentacles likes to start something and but will definitely finish it. So if you're working with somebody who's got a Knight of Pentacles type energy, you know they're going to finish this project. You know they're going to finish the task at hand. They're not going to get halfway through doing the garden. They're not going to get halfway through mowing the lawns and just say, oh, that's it, the soccer's on or the cricket's on. And no, they're going to finish the job. So when you look at that, you're kind of seeing that in the imagery. You're seeing that in the colors. You're seeing that in the background. You're also seeing the fact it's a knight, you know, it's got this really heavy armor on, so you know that, you know, they're very responsible, very reliable. They can go into battle for you. And so you're looking at that in your imagery as well as you're thinking about your question, how you approach the question, and then the position of where this card comes up. So we're making the assumption, let's say this is the first card. But you're going to apply it no matter where it comes up in the deck. You're just going to think about how that applies to the position in your spread. So when I also see the Knight of Pentacles, I know, you know, promises are really important, because you think about somebody who's sturdy and solid and reliable and going to finish a project. They're going to keep their word. So again, if I see this show up, I'll say to someone, so, and I say it's in their relationship, it's important that you keep to your word. If you say you're going to do something, if you say you're going to be there, that you do follow through, that you think about the consequences of those actions. That actions are really important whenever the Knights are in play, because the Knights imply action. You're also going to be thinking about your connection with life in terms of it being solid and grounded and resourceful, and that you're keeping your eye on the outcome. You're keeping the eye on why you're engaging in this action. What is the consequence that you want to manifest? And are the actions you're taking going to bring about them? Okay, so now we've got this in the situation that they asked me to do. They wanted to put the Knight of Pentacles. So if I've got it on the table here, you'll note the Knight is looking at the swords energy here. They're looking at these 9 of swords. Okay, so when I show it up to you, it's a bit tricky, but you know, so you've got this Knight, and then you've got the swords energy. So remember, but when it's on the table, the sword, the horse, the Knight, the pentacle, the energy is flowing towards this next card. You know, in some imagery, it'll be facing the other way. It'll be looking away. So I'll be thinking, okay, that's something that's coming to an end. It's something from the past. And this next one energy is something new. Something wants to manifest completely separate or within combination, but only around what can I gain or learn and now carry forward and create something new. But here they're actually quite well tied, because they're looking, they're really, the energy is kind of combining. It's like the two want to work together, a bit like in astrology, I might think of a conjunction. Or you might even say a square, actually, because, you know, your square, they've got to work together. They've got to figure out how they're going to solve the problem by coming together. And in a conjunction, they are together. So they hold their energy as one. But here we're looking at this now, this 9 of swords. So we know about swords. It's about our mind, our perception, our beliefs, our values, the way the mind is working. We know around our thoughts, our communication, the words we might choose to use, the words we might choose not to use, when we might speak, when we might not speak, what we perceive, how we take in information through the eyes. I think also our mind is affected also, you could say, by our smell. It's really everything to do with the head up, I think, of the swords. And so think about your mind. You know, your mind is always on the go. It's always busy. It's always got these chatter thoughts going on, a bit like the radio in the background, that's what can make meditating quite challenging sometimes. And so there's this natter going on, because the mind is always spinning. It's always firing, you know. It's always perceiving information, and it's setting off various neurons and things in the brain that are sending messages. But also think about the other tasks in the mind. It's how we move our body. You know, that if our mind can't send the signals through, we have trouble with movement, with mobility. We might have trouble with various organ functions. So it's a very powerful tool. I mean, it's really, if you think about it, where would you be? Where are you if you don't really have your mind engaged in what it is you're trying to achieve? So here, this 9, okay, so I'm looking at this 9 here. And, you know, people often feel quite overwhelmed when they see this card, because, you know, it does look very heavy. The colors are quite dark. And this person's very forlorn. They've got their head down in their hands. But, you know, they've got a very bright bedspread. And but they're stuck. It is a card that's sort of showing the energies become stuck. So going back to this Knight, we're saying, okay, we're looking at, in terms of the question, this being solid and sturdy and worker bee and focused and true to our word. And now we're getting, our mind is struggling with that. So we would be asking, so when you, to the person or to yourself, so how are these two, what are they both trying to say to you? Where do they need to work together? Where does the mind maybe need some freedom to be able to engage in this process? Am I kind of becoming a workaholic might be part of what's happening here. The person's so stuck on achieving the outcome that they're not realizing the impact it's having on their well-being. It's not realizing that maybe it's having them sleepless nights, that they are not taking care of their body, that they're not listening to their body, they're not eating, they're not taking care of those around them, they've let their plants die, they've let everything around them sort of go into a place of disarray because they're so focused on this one task or this what they think they must do or the object. So this is where you start to put the two together. You know, it's around, and then maybe if a person feeling that they're not doing enough can be part of why this 9 comes up, that they're not working hard enough and that others don't think they're achieving enough, and they start to take on shame and guilt, and it's all those mental things that we take on when we think other people aren't reflecting back to us that we're wonderful and the work we're doing is marvellous, that nobody noticed we mowed the lawn or noticed that we rearranged the cupboards or that we fixed the car or that all the things that we do every day. Are we at night when we're on our own and we go into our mind, do we feel like we're not being seen for what we're doing, how hard we're working? Is it because we're working as hard as we can, but we're not getting that grade point average that their parents want from us, or we're not getting, the every single donor to donate to the cause, or we're not getting the event online as we should, or all those shoulds and should nots. That's what this card's talking about. It's all those mental things that we do to ourselves, how we talk ourselves down, how we put ourselves out, how we fail to realize that we're doing it. We're playing it over like a radio on our head. An event occurs at work and we're working really hard and someone makes a silly comment or an offhanded remark and we take it, so it reminds us of something that happened 10 years ago on a job or 20 years ago, where we felt like we were belittled, or somehow our confidence sort of fell away. And this card's reminding us that this is the energy we're working through. This is what we're trying to let go of. It's following on. So it's telling you, hey, do you want to hang on to that record anymore? Is it time to create a new record? Do you need that record? Do you need to hang on to those shoulds? Do you need to hang on to those should nots? Or do's or don'ts? Is that really the chatter you want going on in your mind? Can you change that mind? Can you start to come up with a new mantra for the mind? So it's challenging you to maybe be this dedicated self that you are towards your mind. What can you do every day? So be dedicated, be grounded to work on your mind, to bring something light and bright into your mind, listening to nice music, or coming up with a new mantra that will sort of block away all that old stuff. Questioning our perceptions. Well, wait a minute. Does that necessarily mean this X, Y, and Z will happen this time just because it happened 10 years ago? Challenging that. I'm a different person now. Why does it have to happen? I can do it differently now. I have the choice. I can make different actions now to get different outcomes. It's having you look at that. It's questioning, if this action last time caused X consequence and I didn't like that, well, maybe if I change the action this time, I can have a different outcome. You will have a different outcome. It's giving you the heads up that you don't need to play the old record anymore. You can change your perceptions. You can change your outlook. You can change your way your mind is attaching to things. You have that ability and freedom, and you have that ability because that Knight is telling you you've got that strength. Because it's a very strong card, this Knight. This is the energy of somebody when they put their mind to it can really plug their way through. You can do that when these two cards come up. So you're looking at those sort of messages. You're looking at the messages, stop sabotaging yourself. Stop sabotaging your work. Stop sabotaging the effort you're making, because you're the one that's doing it when this card follows this. And it's to do with the mind. That's why it's an air card. And you can see that by the energy. She's holding on to her head, so tired of the messages and the thoughts and the sleeplessness and the endless over and over, going over the old story. And that's the wisdom of why this card would appear, for example, in that sort of question when they come together. And the same sort of thing if it's on the other way around. So if it's the other way around, you know, I would be, again, you can actually, these cards are quite good together. The Knight would be saying to you, move on. Maybe if this job you're in is causing you to just feel belittled and overwhelmed and, you know, trodden on and losing your sense of self, and you're not sleeping, maybe you've got to change your work hours. Maybe you need to relook at how you can do it differently. Maybe you need to step up and step out and to come up with a new way, present something new to your employer, but a different way to do the work you're doing, so you have more free time, so that you can have that time out. It's maybe looking at, you don't need to just keep doing it the same old way. So this Knight here, because it's wanting to move away, is saying, maybe the way you've always been doing it isn't worked for you, and it probably therefore isn't working with what you're doing. If it's in a relationship, it definitely be looking at that. How can you look at adding some new things into your relationship? Moving your relationship, looking at the things that you consider your true values, the things that you really care about in this relationship, and getting those to grow and expand. And if that means other bits of the relationship, maybe you don't have to have, you know, a new car every 5 years if that's going to put you under financial stress. Maybe you don't need to go on a holiday overseas when a lovely holiday at home can be just as much fun for you and the family, and take all that pressure and stress out of those financial situations. Or is it one around looking at what's important to you around money and finances and stability? Maybe you need to look at having friends around you that support that, and not ones that, you know, you go out and blow all your money and then you spend the whole, you know, Sunday night stressing over, oh my God, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to buy the groceries? So that's sort of what you're looking at when you see these two cards come together. So I hope you found that useful. I'm not going to go into the Eight of Swords now, because I think we've probably made this video long enough. I'll perhaps add that to another video and do that another time. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks again for coming to my channel. I really look forward to hearing from you all. And again, if you haven't subscribed, check the box down. Like the video if you like it, because it helps other people find the video, and that's always lovely. And by all means, sign up for a reading if you'd like a private reading. I'm Kira Woods, and thanks very much. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.